After 60, this itchy spot could be a sign of serious health issues. At first, it was just an itch, nothing more than a tiny, irritating whisper on his back, right between the shoulder blades, just out of reach. 72-year-old Arthur chuckled as he tried to scratch it against the edge of a doorframe. Getting old, he muttered, means your body becomes a riddle you can't solve. But the itch never left. Days turned into weeks. Creams didn't help. Showers didn't soothe. It wasn't dry skin. It wasn't allergies. It was something else, something deeper. One morning, while Arthur sat on his porch sipping tea, watching the early sun pierce through the trees, the itch flared again, but this time, it came with a strange heaviness in his chest. Just for a second. Barely enough to notice, but that was the moment everything changed. I've been a physician for nearly 35 years. Most people don't come to me because of pain. They come when something becomes impossible to ignore. But I've learned, it's the whispers, not the screams, that matter most. Arthur finally walked into my clinic. He wasn't afraid. Just puzzled, he said, "Doc, it's silly. But this itch won't go away." What he didn't know was that this itch wasn't on his skin, not really, it was beneath it, rooted somewhere much deeper. Every year, millions of elderly individuals feel these subtle signs, a nagging itch, a random twitch, a spot that tingles or burns. Most dismiss them, but what if these tiny discomforts aren't just signs of aging? What if they're messages from the body, messages we've never been taught to translate? The skin is the body's largest organ, but it's also the most misunderstood. When the liver is overworked, when the kidneys struggle, when the immune system flares, the skin speaks. Through rashes. Through dryness. Through itch. This isn't just a story about Arthur, it's about all of us. It's about the quiet moments we overlook, the signs we dismiss, the voice of our body, whispering truths we're too distracted to hear, because after 60, life rarely shouts, it whispers, and if you don't listen when it whispers, you may not be ready when it screams. The truth is, Arthur wasn't alone. That mysterious itch, that little spot on his back that never stopped calling his attention, it's more common than you think, and more dangerous than most realize. In my decades of treating older patients, I've heard this story too many times to count. They come in, almost embarrassed, brushing it off with a chuckle, "Doc, I know it's nothing. Just this silly itch, but I never brush it off," because sometimes, that silly itch is the body's way of saying, "Look deeper." For those over 60, persistent itching is often misunderstood. It isn't always a rash, it isn't always the soap, and it's rarely just old skin. It's a quiet signal from within. A biological whisper echoing through the nerves and up to the surface, a call for help that goes unspoken and unheard. Let me tell you what most people never hear, because no one talks about it. After 60, your skin begins to thin, your circulation slows, your organs, liver, kidneys, thyroid, begin to falter quietly. Sometimes the only sign is a persistent itch. We call it pruritus in medicine, but I call it a clue, a red flag with no sound, and it's not just about physical discomfort, it's about what we choose to notice. And what we choose to ignore, because this itch, this tiny, nagging itch, rarely exists on its own, it rides on top of deeper issues. A liver that's not detoxing properly, a kidney that's letting waste stay too long, a blood sugar level that's no longer safe, a nervous system starting to fray at the edges. One of my patients ignored his itch for 6 months. When we finally did blood work, we found dangerously elevated liver enzymes. That itch saved his life. Another woman came in because her arm felt like it was crawling. I ran tests. Turned out to be early-stage multiple myeloma. We caught it early, because she chose to listen. And yet, how many people don't listen? How many simply accept it as just aging, when aging, in fact, is when we must listen most closely? The truth is brutal. Most of us are taught to tolerate discomfort, to be tough, to live with it, to brush it off. But what if the body isn't trying to bother us? what if it's trying to save us? After 60, every symptom matters. Especially the small ones. Especially the ones you think are nothing. So the next time you feel an itch that won't go away, don't ignore it, don't medicate it blindly, don't silence it, listen, because under that itch may lie a truth, a condition, a warning, a second chance. We've been taught to listen to pain, but maybe, we should have been listening to the itch all along. We've all heard the same answer, it's probably just dry skin. The go-to response. The easy explanation, especially after 60, when every discomfort is shrugged off as just aging. But let me ask you something, when a roof leaks, do you just repaint the ceiling, or do you check the structure underneath? Dry skin is real. It happens. But when an itch becomes chronic, when it lingers, returns, migrates, or burns, we must look beneath the surface. Because the skin is not just skin, it's a mirror, a biological mirror reflecting what's happening inside the body. Let's break it down. 1. The liver, the silent filter. When your liver slows down, and it often does with age, toxins that should be filtered out start to circulate in your blood. One of the earliest signs, itching. Especially on the back, arms, chest, or palms, it's called cholestatic pruritus, a fancy name for what happens when bile acids build up inside you. And your skin becomes the alarm bell. I've seen patients scratch until they bleed, thinking it's eczema or nerves. But when we run liver panels, the truth is right there. Elevated ALT. High bilirubin. Early liver disease. And the sad part, most of them waited too long, too. The kidneys, the waste managers. When kidneys lose function, your blood retains substances it should have filtered out, urea, creatinine. Electrolytes gone haywire, and again. One of the body's first cries for help. Itching. Deep. Internal. Hard to locate. This isn't the kind of itch you can scratch, because the problem isn't outside, it's inside. One man came in with severe itching on his back and thighs. No rash. No dryness. Just raw irritation. He thought it was detergent. Turned out his kidney function was below 40%. We caught it just in time. 3. The nervous system, the phantom itch. Itching doesn't always come from the skin, sometimes, it's a neurological itch, when aging nerves misfire and confuse the brain into thinking something is crawling under the skin. This is common in diabetic neuropathy, spinal compression, stroke survivors, and even multiple sclerosis in older patients. It's not your imagination, it's not in your head, it's in your nerves. These patients feel helpless. Nothing soothes the itch. Because the problem isn't the skin, it's the wiring beneath it. In rare, but very real, cases, an unexplained itch can be the first symptom of something far more serious: lymphomas, leukemias, liver cancers, even pancreatic cancer. Itching with no rash, no trigger, no relief. It's not meant to scare you, but it should wake you up, because the body does not send signals without meaning. Sometimes, the itch is the earliest warning. Before weight loss. Before fatigue. Before pain. It's the one chance the body gives you to pay attention. So when someone says, "It's just dry skin," ask them, "Are you sure?" Because after 60, the skin may be telling a much deeper story, not one written in wrinkles, but in warnings. We were taught to treat symptoms, to put cream on a message, to silence the noise. But what if we stopped covering it up, and started listening? For Chapter 4, the warning signs we were never taught. We spend our lives learning to ignore ourselves, to keep going, to not make a fuss, to tell others, and ourselves, it's probably nothing. But what if that mindset is what makes it everything? No one teaches us how to recognize the subtle signs. Especially after 60. We teach children how to brush teeth. Teenagers how to avoid accidents. Adults how to pay bills. But no one teaches the elderly how to listen to their own body. And so the warning signs come. Quiet, gentle, patient, and unnoticed. Let me show you what they look like, not as symptoms in a textbook, but as everyday moments. 1. The itch you only notice at night. During the day, you're distracted, moving, busy, but at night, when the world quiets, the itch returns. And it's not just skin, it's the liver, struggling with bile, it's the kidneys, slow to filter. Liver-based itching is almost always worse at night, because that's when your system clears toxins. If it can't, it pushes it to the skin. 2. The itch that travels, it starts on your back, then your scalp, then your legs. No rash, no bump, just movement, shifting, wandering. That's not normal. That's not just age. That's the nervous system misfiring, often in response to hidden damage, a compressed spine, a nutrient deficiency, a microvascular issue you'll never feel until it's too late. 3. The itch without a rash, you look, nothing's there, you scratch, still nothing, and yet the discomfort won't leave. That's often systemic, not dermatological. In my experience, an itch with no visible cause is more dangerous than one with a rash, because it's not surface level. It's internal, and often metabolic, neurological, or immune-based. 4. The itch that comes with fatigue, it's not just an itch, you're more tired, foggy, off, you nap more, walk slower, feel dulled. That's not aging, that's the body dimming the lights, a little at a time, and it's asking you to see it before they go out completely. When older patients tell me they're itchy and exhausted, I never dismiss them, because that combination usually means their internal systems are already under siege. They just don't know it yet. So why weren't we taught these things? Why don't we recognize these signs? Because the world doesn't look at the elderly and think urgent. It looks and thinks inevitable. There's an unspoken message in society: once you're old, discomfort is expected. Suffering is natural. And awareness? Optional. But that's a lie. After 60, awareness is everything. Because what you feel matters, because what your body whispers is worth listening to, because what seems minor may not be minor at all, especially not when you're 70, especially not when time is no longer something you can waste. These signs were never taught in schools, not shown on TV, not explained in doctors' offices unless you knew the right questions to ask. But now, you know, and knowledge is the beginning of vigilance, of prevention, of hope. By now, you may be asking, how can something so small mean something so big? How can an itch, just a tingle on the skin, be connected to organ failure? The answer: because in the elderly body, the skin is not just skin, it's the final messenger. The human body is a network of silent alarms. Most people only hear the fire bell. But doctors, we learn to listen for smoke. And sometimes, that smoke is an itch, a strange sensation, a flicker, a spot that won't go away. Let me walk you through it. 1. The liver, the forgotten factory. The liver is your body's chemical refinery. It breaks down toxins, processes fats, and filters what shouldn't stay inside. But when the liver becomes sluggish, whether from fatty liver, hepatitis, alcohol damage, or age-related wear, the bile it normally secretes begins to accumulate, and when bile salts and bilirubin build up in the blood, it doesn't cause pain. It causes itching. Usually on the palms, soles, back, or arms, often without rash, often worse at night, and often ignored, until liver damage becomes liver failure. Liver-related itch isn't just a symptom, it's a prelude, a silent warning from the organ that detoxifies your entire life, and if we don't hear it, we lose time. 2. The kidneys, the waste disposers. Kidneys act like filters. They remove excess fluid, regulate salt, clean out urea and creatinine, and balance pH. But aging, along with diabetes, high blood pressure, or chronic medication, can cause chronic kidney disease. What happens when kidneys stop filtering properly? uremic toxins accumulate. And once they do, the skin becomes the dump site, resulting in what we call uremic pruritus, a relentless, whole-body itch that worsens over time. No cream fixes it. No soap causes it, it's the body crying out, because the filters are clogged. And the cruel irony, most people don't feel pain when their kidneys begin to fail, but they do feel the itch, they just don't know that's what it means. 3. The nervous system, the wires misfiring. As we age, the nervous system wears down, nerves become slower, misfire more often, and sometimes they invent sensations, like itches that don't have a source, burning skin, crawling feelings, phantom tickles with no trigger. This is called neuropathic pruritus, common in diabetic neuropathy, spinal stenosis, post-stroke patients, or even shingles survivors. I've had patients cry in frustration. They've seen every dermatologist, tried every lotion. Nothing works. Because it's not the skin. It's the nerves. And if the nerves are screaming, you better believe the brain is trying to tell you something. 4. The immune system, the invisible storm. Sometimes, the itch is the immune system spiraling out of control. In blood cancers like lymphoma or leukemia, or autoimmune diseases like lupus, the immune system begins to overreact, misfire, or attack itself. Before fatigue, before fever, before weight loss, there is often the itch, the unexplainable, untreatable itch. Think about that. Your body's deepest systems, the ones that keep you alive every day, don't always announce their failure with a bang. Sometimes they whisper. When I see an elderly patient with persistent itching, especially without a rash, I never dismiss it. Never. Because it's not always skin. It's not always harmless. Sometimes it's the first sign of something much bigger, much darker. And that's the truth we were never told. An itch can be more than dryness, more than irritation. It can be the prelude to decline, or the beginning of rescue, but only if you listen. So when the body itches, don't scratch blindly, don't silence the symptom, decode the message, because after 70, every signal matters. In our quest to understand the deeper messages of the body, we've come a long way, but knowing isn't enough. What you do with that knowledge, that's what matters. When patients come to me with unexplained itching, I don't just ask about skin. I ask about their whole life. I ask about their habits, their history. I ask the questions that could save them, questions they may not have even thought to ask themselves. Now, let's break down what you can do today, before it's too late. 1. Step 1. Don't ignore the itch. The first rule: never ignore an itch that lingers, intensifies, or moves around. That persistent itch, especially if it shows up at night, on your palms, soles, or upper back, could be the body's cry for help. If your skin itches with no obvious rash or injury, and it doesn't go away with basic treatments like lotion, it's time to consult a healthcare professional. Don't wait for it to get worse. 2. Step 2. Keep a record of your symptoms. Here's the next piece of the puzzle: track your symptoms. Keep a journal of when the itch appears, how long it lasts, and where it affects you most. Does it occur at night? Does it worsen with certain foods, activities, or medications? This isn't just for your convenience, it helps your doctor understand the pattern and diagnose you faster. I can't tell you how many times a simple log has made all the difference in diagnosis. When you walk into my office with clear, documented symptoms, we're already a step ahead. 3. Step 3. Know your family history. Itching can be the body's first sign of an internal issue, but some of those issues run in the family. Is there a history of liver disease, kidney failure, diabetes, or autoimmune conditions in your family? If yes, you need to be even more vigilant. Family history is a roadmap. Use it to inform your awareness and take preemptive action. Remember, aging doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not just about how old you are, it's about your body's history and how it interacts with your present. 4. Step 4. The right medical tests. When in doubt, get tested. simple blood work can give your doctor valuable insight into your liver, kidney, and immune system health. Tests like liver function tests, ALT/AST, bilirubin levels, kidney function tests, creatinine, urea, glomerular filtration rate, thyroid function, because hormone imbalances can also cause itching, complete blood count, CBC, to look for signs of blood cancers or infection. It's never a bad idea to check in with your doctor regularly, even if it's just a routine blood test. Early intervention makes all the difference in aging. 5. Step 5. Treat the source, not the symptom. Itching is a symptom, but it's not just a symptom, it's a warning. If it's due to liver disease, the goal is to improve liver function, not just soothe the skin. If it's kidney disease, treating the kidney function is key. You can treat itching with lotions, creams, or antihistamines. But if the underlying problem is liver failure or kidney disease, those treatments are temporary. A good doctor will help you target the cause, not just mask the symptom. That's where the real healing happens. 6. Step 6. Lifestyle adjustments for prevention. Don't wait for the itch to get worse. Prevention is always better than cure. Maintain a healthy diet rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. Stay hydrated. Your skin is the first to show signs of dehydration. Exercise regularly to keep your organs and nervous system functioning well. Small steps, big impact. The path to health in your later years isn't just about waiting for a cure. It's about creating resilience, every day, with every choice. 7. Step 7. Embrace awareness, not fear. Awareness is a powerful tool, and understanding that itching is not just a nuisance, it's a signal. It's the body's way of telling you that something needs attention. But don't be afraid of it, don't be paralyzed by the unknown. Instead, be empowered. I've seen many patients ignore small signs, thinking they'll go away. But the truth is, they won't. Not if you're over 60. But if you catch it early, if you listen, you can add years to your life. And quality to those years. When your body speaks, listen. When it itches, ask why, and when it whispers, act, because after 60, the questions you ask are the ones that shape your future. We've traveled a long road together, from the whispers beneath your skin to the powerful truths that those whispers carry. Now, as we reach the final step, one question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? Living with awareness is not just about avoiding illness. It's about embracing the power to take control. We've learned today that it's never too late to listen to your body. And it's never too late to change the course of your future. Now, I want you to picture this, a future where you recognize the signs, a future where you take action, a future where the body's whispers no longer go unnoticed, because you hear them, and you act. You are not a passive passenger in this life. You are the driver. And now, more than ever, you must steer with intention. Yes, aging is inevitable. But suffering? That's optional. You don't need to be a medical expert to take charge of your health, but you do need awareness, and the courage to ask questions. Ask your doctor about what's happening to your body, ask about those persistent itches, ask about any changes, big or small, and, above all, ask how you can make your life better, stronger, and more fulfilling, because when you live with empowerment, you change your future, and in doing so, you change the present. As you move forward, remember this: the path to longevity and vitality is paved with small, deliberate steps. Taking care of your body is not just about managing illness, it's about living fully, with confidence, with power, with the grace that only comes when you truly understand the incredible potential within you. What you can do today: start with your body. If something feels off, don't brush it aside, stay proactive, schedule a checkup, and don't wait until things become serious. Prioritize your health, eat well, exercise, stay hydrated, and sleep well. Stay connected, whether it's with loved ones, a support network, or even online communities. You are not alone. Health isn't just the absence of disease. It's the presence of vitality, of joy, of purpose. And you are worthy of all those things. Remember, aging is a gift, it's a privilege, but to truly enjoy it, you must be in tune with your body, because when you listen, when you take action, you don't just extend your life, you enhance the quality of it. Before we end this journey, I want to hear from you. Have you experienced any unexplained symptoms or signs of aging that you ignored before? How did you take control of your health? Drop a comment below, share your story. Let's build a community of empowered elders who live life to the fullest. Subscribe to our channel for more wisdom, tips, and advice on how to live your healthiest, most vibrant life. Let's continue this journey together. Stay aware. Stay empowered, because you deserve the best years ahead.